Welcome. This is Recidiva. I'm sharing a recording of a casual Skyrim playthrough using a mod list I built. My profound thanks to all the mod creators who have made this game a crowdsourced treasure. I hope you enjoy. Okay, hey baby. Let's go this way. Yeah. Hey honey.
Why the fuck are you lugging all that shit around?
Hey
Maybe you
sweet
could
roll.
unload it, sell some of it.
Thief's Journal. Fourth of first seed. I guess being Bosmer really does give me away with animals. This little fox wandered up to me today, bold as brass, and started begging for treats. I didn't have anything on me at the time to sweet roll, but it seemed to like that well enough. I wonder if this gift with animals works on horses. It would make stealing them dead easy. 15th of first seed. The furry nuisance won't leave me alone. It's been following me everywhere, even down into the sewers. At least it's quiet enough that it won't alert the guards. First of Rain's hand, the fox has a real nose for sniffing out valuables. Just this morning, she dug a silver locket out of the mud. I never would have seen it if she hadn't started pawing at the ground. She must be attracted to shiny things. Can't say I blame her, really. Ninth of Rain's hand, finding Sweet Roll has turned out to be the best stroke of luck I've had in a while. She's got better eyes and instincts than any thief I've ever met, including Vex. I can't remember the last time my coin purse was this heavy. I'm starting to jingle like a battalion of Imperials when I walk. 25th of Rain's hand. I think I'll try this animal taming out on wolves outside of town. Some of the other thieves have been eyeing me recently. They'd think twice about jumping me if I had a wolf at my heels. So, my only... Oh, I'm stuck. Hey, Sweet Roll, want a treat? Okay. Let me see if I can get unstuck here. Okay, jumping should clear it. Cool. Alright, baby. Wow, they've all got cataracts. Wait for me at home. Yeah, again, my only issue, it's great. I think it's actually adorable to have these guys follow you around. But if you can see, it's just, I imagine Sweet Roll is a she. She has collision in a way that, Kaidan doesn't. So I can walk right through him, but I can't with those guys. So, and they just block too many hallways and annoy the crap out of me. So, okay. Guardians of the Divine is going to require that I wear the Ring of Saint Amiel, which is up here. So I'll have to take Wanderlust off, which I hate. Creaties, no. Okay. Okay, I believe there's also, yeah, you see there's a lot of stuff on the compass now. This is a pretty involved quest. Quest. Oh my goodness. Floofy White Bear. You don't gotta. No, you don't. No. You didn't have to. yeah, there's a stone up there, so I'll run over there and get that after I finish this.
Aye.
Hello, sweetheart. Just trying to get my
Till
horse.
next time.
Hello, beautiful sky. This is a creation club thing that gives you a full set of gear, and then you can, I believe it comes default in heavy, and then you can refit it for light or the reverse, something like that. Let me read. I've got a couple of notes. Let me read them. Shelley, your ship should have arrived weeks ago, and I fear the worst has happened. I've set up camp in this rock as your ship should pass here, and hopefully one of these days we'll be together again. If you're reading this, I'm probably out hunting or bringing in some supplies. I'll be waiting here until I see your face again. Faithfully, Trius. Oh, Trius. Go through and see if I have any notes. Note. S. I've had to pull more than a few strings to get this to Skyrim given recent events. Hope it gets to you in one piece. If not, I'm sure you can work it out after a rummage in that arcanium of yours. N. So that's from Immersive College of Winterhold. I think that was for the bulk enchanter, which might be inherent to there. I used to have it, but I took it out. I just buy it now. I don't like enchanting skill. It's really annoying. We've been set upon at every turn, but thus far we've been able to thwart the Thalmor efforts of obtaining the relics of the Divine Crusader. As far as I know, my brothers have all fallen at their hands, but something tells me we've achieved that they achieved Argol, not the Thalmor, the brothers. Argol and the relics are safe, at least. Should the Thalmor happen upon any of the chests, there's no power short of the Divines which can open them. Aside from the ring I bear, that is. I will keep it safely locked away here and hold the banner as long as possible, but I fear that the elements will overcome me before help arrives, or even before the Thalmor could find me. My only hope is that whoever discovers this ring will safeguard it, for it is the key to the legacy of Palinal Whitestrake and the Order of the Nine. Divines, protect me. Yeah, I believe those were artifacts in Oblivion, if I'm correct. Sun's height correspondence. S. The resonance theory is a unique contribution to the topic. The Izmir collective continues to prove its worth. However, several attempts to recapitulate this have only resulted in molten stone and an injured apprentice. It would seem that the unique environment of a volcanic eruption is required to channel the energy specifically into media so resistant to enchantment. Naturally, this represents the end of an experimental avenue of research into the formation of the stones. I've had some insights into your twinning problem. You can't rule out the possibility that the teleportation epicenter is elsewhere. There will come a point when the orb is so far from the target that only a colossal gem would be able to power it. Gems with better uses elsewhere. But the appetite of such a device would be so voracious it would likely rip the very soul from passers-by and become inherently unstable. This could be detected as a transient pause or even reversal of the decreasing soul gem magnitude as you move toward twin or Dias, but bypass the epicenter. If the orbs are twinned, then the magnitude of soul required will decrease as you approach the twin or Dias. Much as I hate to admit it, I agree with A in not sending anyone through the orbs until this is established. Twins or targets could be underground or underwater. At this point, it has extensive experience in ritual sacrifice and has compiled comp- H has an extensive experience in ritual sacrifice and has compiled a comprehensive list of relative soul magnitudes for various creatures, useful for pinpointing the maximum magnitude of soul required as the orbs move. Wow, okay. Okay, so for the duration of this quest, as was mentioned, I think I mentioned it earlier, and the note just said it. If you wear the ring, you can open the chest. Otherwise, you have to get very specific blessings from specific divines. So, signet ring of Sir Amiel goes on. Let's see.
I'm feeling a bit of thirst for a good bit of ale. No?
I'm going to take Ambar up to that blessings, the stone blessing and the shard. Penguins! Hello, guys. I love you guys. It's awesome. Okay, tower gives you the option of automatically opening expert or lower locks. I'm becoming more and more ambivalent about this quest. The shards. Kind of like them. They're kind of bumming me out. I would like it if there weren't a quest and if there weren't an item in your inventory. Okay. Sword of the Crusader. Yeah, this is just straight up in the Temple of Divines.
May the gods watch over your battles, friend. I don't abide fancy clothes, but you look like you might. I hear Radiant Raiments has a large selection.
It's like traveling with the dump.
Okay, so the chests all look like this. As long as you're wearing the ring, you'll be able to open them.
Remind us of our place.
Try to find the closest one. Oh, I have discovered something. Let me pray first. With some of my auto loot issues, it does look like it has something that I could activate. Smart harvest. Trying to. You can click something in here, I believe. And now I'm not finding it. Going to have to find the setting. Alright. Sorry, I can't seem to find it. There is, you can set your loot to check for conflicts with quest items. Now I'm wondering which
Your lips
mod I
are
added
cool,
that
should I
made that
warm them up
a
bit?
thing. Getting lost between this mod list and my others. I'll try to think of it, find it. Oh yeah, there's a creepy cave people. Lots of Thelmer in here.
Fair warning. I'm absolutely shite, so apologies in advance.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. It usually tells me I'm in combat when I try to do this. Let's see. Oh,
I better listen
nice.
to anything coming on watch.
Maybe if I muffle
Time to
first,
stop.
it
Right now it's
won't
gonna get real fucking awkward.
catch me. I don't know. So yeah, there is a setting. I was pretty sure it was in the auto looter, where you can set it to check with quest conflicts or conflicts with other mods. And then when you click on a corpse, it will ask you what you want to do, and give you options if you have options, or just say loot. So I'll have to look for that setting. Okay, here we go. Here's one of the other chests.
It's like there's too much. Damn, I'm glad I did.
So let's see. If I'm right, this is heavy. Yeah. So it's got 3 abilities. Illusion spells cost 10% less, restoration cost 8% less, and receive 8% better prices. It's a decent set. And if I'm correct, and I know I'm wrong about a bunch of stuff. I can't always remember what it is that I'm supposed to fix, but I mean to recall, but I believe it's based on one of the DLC settings from Oblivion, this set. Okay, in checking, yes, this creation is based on Oblivion DLC, because I do remember playing that.
What do you want skooma for? Why do you even have that?
Should probably stop auto-looting skooma and moon sugar as it distresses Kaidan. Oh, we haven't even been to Ragnvald. Alright. Let's go take a nap in Morkarth. Yeah. that was extra.
Come sit with me, my love.
On Stepping Lightly. The Nordic Ruins of Skyrim by Siglius Justus. Dotting the landscape of Skyrim, the ancient Nordic ruins are a testament to the ingenuity of the Nordic people of the past. When constructing the final resting places of their noble class, these supposedly barbaric people proved quite the opposite, developing some of the most sophisticated and clever defenses ever encountered. Coupled with the presence of the fearsome Draugr, these tombs have become quite a challenge for the would-be treasure hunter. The most often overlooked obstacles are the abundance of traps spread throughout the tombs, ranging from simple tripwire-activated rockfalls to complex pressure plate-triggered dart traps. The Nords utilize these devices abundantly. Most of the traps can be avoided by simply looking for the trigger mechanism and avoiding them. Since they are most often placed in areas where distractions abound, remember to keep your eyes to the floor. One of the keys to survival in a Nordic ruin is through the clever use of these traps to gain an upper hand against its denizens. In many cases, it's trivial to lure them across the triggering mechanism in hopes that they'll fall victim to its trap's effect. This advantage can come heavily into play when encountering an oil trap. Using a ranged attack, lure your victims onto the oil and then loose an arrow on the fire pot hanging above. The moment the fire pot shatters, the entire pool of oil will ignite and engulf the enemy. Just be certain that you're standing clear of the oil yourself, or else this trick could end your expedition in an untimely manner. Perhaps one of the most amazing engineered marvels of all is to be found in the ruins. Perhaps one of the most amazing engineering marvels of all to be found in the ruins has little to do with the traps designed to kill. Utilizing all manner of pull chains, levers, switches, and pressure plates, some of the most frustrating obstacles could occur in the form of puzzles that could threaten to block your progress. Watch for the telltale signs of these barriers. Groups of levers in a single place, rotating pillars with carvings on all faces, and even large arrays of pressure plates covering the floor of a room. In most cases, the puzzle might take experimentation. In others, the solution could actually be present elsewhere in the complex. It's recommended to keep a writing implement and a journal handy in the latter case. Although Nordic ruins are commonly infested with vermin such as skeever and spiders, these creatures pale in comparison to the mighty Draugr. These horrific, animated dead beings are commonly found as guardians in most of the tombs and will defend them mercilessly. Since the Draugr tend to lay dormant until someone happens upon their resting place, it's advisable to keep an eye on any niches or sarcophagi that you encounter. These undead beings animate rather rapidly and silently, so always watch your back. Any remains you may have passed could suddenly animate and set upon you without warning. The perils of the Nordic ruin are not without reward. The burial chambers in some of the larger complexes have been known to contain all manners of riches, from gold coins to even the occasional enchanted weapon or armor. Never dismiss the small ceremonial urns that dot the ruins. They are commonly filled with ancient offerings of great value. There are rumors that most, if not all, of these ruins contain large walls with magical inscriptions upon them, but these have yet to be confirmed. While this might seem like comprehensive guide to the ruins, while this might seem like I'm going to add an A there, a comprehensive guide to the ruins, there are certain to be dangers lurking within that remain undiscovered. Just be sure to always enter these tombs with plenty of equipment and a good, solid weapon by your side. With a bit of patience, a keen eye, and a light step, the Nordic ruin can bring you great wealth. Do without these simple safety measures, and you risk becoming a permanent resident like many before you. On the Great Collapse. To the esteemed Jarl Valdemar of Winterhold, first, please allow me to offer my most sincere condolences. I understand that you, like many others, have lost family, and you have my deepest sympathies. I also understand that some on your council have placed the blame for this horrible disaster on my colleagues at the college. While I can certainly appreciate the shock at the scope of recent events and the desire to comprehend what has happened, I must strongly urge you to consider the full situation. You know as well as any the college's history and reputation in Winterhold. It has long been a source of pride for your city, a unique fixture in Skyrim. Some of the greatest wizards have studied here, and the college has always promoted positive relations with the other provinces of Termina. It is well known that those relations have been, shall we say, strained over the last few decades. After the Oblivion Crisis, it was only natural that the people of Skyrim showed a distrust for mages, even though the vast majority of us actively worked to counter the actions of the mythic Dawn cult. The college expected such a reaction and hoped that distrust would fade over time. And then, the Red Year. No one foresaw the explosion of Red Mountain or the devastating effects it would have on Dunmer culture. Your predecessor was kind enough to welcome many of the refugees, particularly those who could contribute to the college's studies. We were quite grateful. When Solstheim was generously offered to the Dunmer as a new home, I was surprised. I was as surprised as any. I did not, however, share the apparent expectation that all Dark Elves would leave Skyrim. It did not go unnoticed that many in Winterhold were unhappy at how many mages chose to stay at the college rather than relocate. And now, the storms that have racked the coast of Skyrim for close to a year have finally broken, but at great cost to us all. This great collapse that has devastated Winterhold was unexpected, I assure you. That the college has remained unaffected is only a testament to the protective magics placed around it so long ago. It in no way implies that we were somehow prepared specifically for this event, and is certainly no indication that the college was somehow responsible. I certainly would never hold you accountable for the gossip spread among the people of Winterhold. I would urge you, though, to not allow that gossip to take root and become a commonly held belief. I do not wish to see our relationship crumble like Winterhold has. As I assure you, the college will remain here a very, very long time. Your persistent advocate, Archmage Dennis. Okay, we saw a saber cat and trolls. They are back to normal.
Fight.
Thank you, Finis. As the map fills in, it becomes more and more difficult to clear a marker. Okay. Okay, now I've got this damn bar's butt in the way. Sometimes there are archaeology sites, like close to the entrance. I don't see one here. I think my archaeology is maxed out too. I've gotten it to about 100. Let's see.
It's actually quite.
Yeah, I've filled it. Yeah, my rank is 100. It doesn't get me higher. I can fill in the rest of the stuff even if I don't use it. Scrapper, 50% bonus to blocking with torches and 25% bonus damage with pickaxes, which is hilarious. But okay, yeah, no more perks. And yeah, it would take me what, at 5% each time, 80 trips to the museum to finish those well, I guess it said your progress was random. A lot of trips to finish the final archaeology exhibits. That's the first time I've gotten my archaeology to 100, so this content is unknown, but cool. Okay. I don't remember what happens in Dragonborn. I don't know if you're alive or dead. Okay. Relatively. I mean, I know you're dead, but are you gonna stay that way?
right now. Fuck the rest of these over there. Right.
It's just over here in the water. Water here? Yeah, in the water. So I'm probably going to be sent back to Ragnvald at one point, either with a quest or as a completionist thing, but without a quest to get me to the bottom, whatever the quest is for this place, I don't have it, I believe. Come back when I have it highlighted. This is what I usually do, is separate these all out. It's kind of like the Stones of Baranzaya. To leave on the quest markers the entire time is just distracting. Alright. And when I'm not attempting to complete quests, it's a great time to use the teleport spells. One of the
Come on
poor
in.
orc's corpse
Let
is
me know
still
if you
down
need
there.
anything. Or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Or, yeah. So this is one of the first quests. You can pick it up in Whiterun, so it does end up being something that I do pretty early on in the game. But you might be better served hiding the quest and then picking it up later after you've cleared the zones. Oh, they're okay. I'm gonna go pick up these shrines.
I am tired.
Yeah, it's late. I know. You're a god among horses, Anbar. I'm sorry I made you do that. Yeah, see this. I'm having issues with my new game. It might be just my followers having their own face lights. My lighting doesn't light up the ground in my new game. I'm gonna have to fix that. Excuse me while I quick make a note about that too. So I have solved some issues during my game, but not all of them. And sometimes I am wrong about the cause, so forgive me. But I believe with many custom followers that have face lights, so that would include Cold Sun's stuff. Activate the Shrine of Magnus. Is the architect, an elven deity, architect of creation. Magnus left the sun in his wake, through which magic enters the world. As a follower, your spells cost a lot less, cost less magicka, but magicka only regenerates while praying. Oh, that's terrible. Tenets are to practice magic successfully while praying, safeguard the Eye of Magnus, create enchanted items. Ooh, I am not accepting it. 10% to absorb, 10% chance to absorb a hostile spell and recharge your magicka. Yeesh. But see, this light actually casts light on the ground, and in my new mod list, this necklace doesn't actually do that. Nothing does it. My okay, there was another shrine. Okay. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I believe custom followers that have their own face light can interfere with that. So that would be Corlin and Vane. And that might be a reason why I need to not use them, which is unfortunate because I love them. Vane in particular. By now, her voice actress is amazing. But it's not good to not be able to light my path, especially as a vampire at night. Although my husband was playing around with my list and did discover Vampire Sight can do that, so that might be my, it's just a toggle to make things easier to see at night, so we'll have to see. Wow, I got that shrine, I got that shard, and I didn't get this shrine? Good. Follow the Yokuden deity Morwa. Forgive me, I don't know if it's Yokuden or Yokudan. I say it two different ways. Morwa is the four-armed Yokuden goddess of food and fertility and Tall Papa's favorite wife. Followers, if you're a follower, you can heal yourself and others through prayer. And the tenets are to be married, receive the blessing of lovers' comfort, harvest the fruits of nature, eat as much food as you want. Wow, Morwa and me, we're like this. Alright. So I need to learn the ins and outs of lighting for my new list. Only my vampires are going to use Vane as a follower. She's just flat out evil. Hello, giant. I'm going this way. She's awesome evil. But yeah, lighting has become problematic. Wait. Alright, let's make sure that my hotkeys here involve the light. Okay. Yeah, okay. Spikes. Yeah, come on, it's really dark. You'd think with 2 moons, you know, there'd be more light. Yeah, think of how light it is when we have a regular full moon on Earth, and look at this huge, huge full moon, and come on, guys. Oh, wow, it's dark. Okay. Oh, you're just a stormcloaked soldier. You don't want to attack me. I don't want to attack you. At least, we hope. There's just bears in here. I don't think it's a huge deal. Bears and skeeter. Yeah, bears fighting each other.
Don't you expect me to eat those spiders' eggs? Bugger that. I'm not an ingredients tester.
Oh. That's weird. It says I haven't discovered it, but here we are.
More than just fruit to get me through
It's
the day.
sending me in here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's weird. And it's sending me back out. Okay, guys. Yeah, that's really weird. Okay, I'm gonna try going to the actual cave that has the actual quest marker. Let's see if this is just a weird little bug. Okay, but where's the entrance? Guys. Okay, here. Should be. Okay. Alright. So that quest marker's little buggy.
Fair warning. I'm up. Absolutely shite this, so apologies in advance.
Control, glad you have physics. Sorry you're, dead and stuff. I know, you might have been a pacifist troll, just wanting to hang out and live a quiet mushroom-eating life, and then comes along this adventure who ruins your dreams.
It's like traveling with the damn shadows sometimes. How do you move about so silently?
I believe both of these exits lead to the same place.
Right, guy. You've got this focus on being sneaky. You are not sneaky peaky.
Oh, they're feeding their poorest people.
It's so dark in here. Watch out for traps. I do not want to be dragging out your remains.
This spot always puts me in combat. where they don't see me, they're looking for me. And there are a bunch of them. Yeah, there are a bunch of them up there. Yeah, I have to go up there and clear that. So I'm never getting out of here.
Darling, you're about to have $100 style car. You little bastards. Fucking cunt. You fuck right off. Are you lugging all that shit around? Maybe you could
Okay,
sell something.
that is the end. Guardians of the Divine. Okay, now I can head back up. Loop around, kill all those guys, and get that archaeology spot.
So, yeah, I knew you'd get it. So I love watching the expressions on her face while she's doing that.
Yeah, I think this is the ledge. Yeah, okay. Got everything. Jump. Okay. Kaidan's gonna have a tough time finding me. Yeah, it doesn't say that we have this cleared, but unless there's a map on quest objective, I'm just gonna end up wandering around. Okay. Back to Roland Manor. Okay.
What do you want that skoomer for? Why do you even have that?
Huh! Change appearance mirror. I didn't even know that was a thing. Go Roland Manor.
Whoa. Back's hurting a bit. Maybe you'll give me a massage later on.
Yeah, if I remember, can't actually use that. Heh. Try and extend our. On the Orbs of Winterhold. Report by Sergius Tyrannius 4E201. Introduction. 3 years ago, at the time of writing, a collection of teleportation orbs were unearthed from the midden beneath the College of Winterhold during excavation of Dunmer ruins. Tests using rats tied to soul gems confirmed that the orbs were still active, even after decades, if not centuries, of neglect. Rats had initially been used due to their abundance in the midden, but these were later switched to rabbits to limit the spread of disease at the teleportation destinations at the insistence of the Master of Restoration, Colette Marins. The nature of the orbs. As far as we can tell without dismantling the orbs, they are intended to teleport users to various locations. Certain grades of soul gem are required to power each orb, with the magnitude of the soul proportionate to the distance of the destination from Winterhold. It remains unclear whether the orbs are strictly one-way or bidirectional. It seems less likely that these orbs operate bidirectionally, as we have yet to observe anyone materialize here in the college. That being said, it would be unlikely for someone to approach an orb or dais while holding a small gem of the correct magnitude. Moreover, there are enchantments protecting the college from such a penetration. The curator of the Arcanium, Borag Roshub, infers an age of roughly 2.5 centuries from the metalwork. The orbs thus date from a time when Winterhold was a seat of not only magical but political, military, and financial influence in Skyrim and beyond. The construction of teleportation targets in allied holds and states would not have been difficult for the college to negotiate. Present considerations. The discovery of these orbs comes at a time of both great political tension and also great magical resentment in Skyrim, not only in the wake of the Oblivion Crisis at the closing of the Third Era, but also the Great War of 4E171, 175, and specifically in Winterhold, the Great Collapse of 4E122. Whilst neither members of the college or the Longhouse now travel in mainstream political circles, it would be prudent to quickly isolate any target orb or conceal any dais so as to not be seen as developing methods of penetrating other holds and states. I would therefore appeal to an archmage to follow either a willing participant or member of the college to use the orbs under my supervision with the intent of either returning orbs to the college or concealing the dais. If this is not considered to be within the college's milieu, then I would remind the archmage that isolation of the targets is not only in the interest of hold security but also college security. Should there exist twin orbs and the protective enchantments be penetrated during a time of vulnerability, for example, during lightning storms, the barriers may become overloaded and dissipate permanently, with colossal expenditures of time, energy, and resources required to restore them. Final words. These orbs are the masterpieces of enchanting masters of old. The knowledge required to create such devices was likely lost in the Great Collapse or has died out with time. Indeed, the last report of a functional twinned teleportation system was released by the Arcane University at the Imperial City in 3E422, and only after many unsuccessful trials during which some participants were only partially teleported. The opportunity to study functional versions of such feats of magic, therefore, cannot be cast aside. Opusculus Lame Bal. Opusculus Lame Bal Tumas Immorte, a brief account of Lame Bal and the Restless Death. Mabe Ain Will Scribe. Translation by University of Gwilym Press, 3E 105. As brighter grows light, darker becomes shadow. So it passed that the Daedra Molag Bal looked on Arche and thought the Aedra prideful of his dominion o'er the death of men and Mer, and it was sooth. Baal, whose fear is the wanton oppression and entrapment of mortal souls, sought to thwart Arche, who knew that not man, not mer, not beast folk of all Nirn could escape eventual death. The Aedra was doubtless of his fear, and so Molag Bal set upon Nirn to best death. Tamriel was still young and filled with danger and wondrous magic when Baal walked in the aspect of a man and took a virgin, Lame Bealfag, from the Nidic peoples. Savage and loveless, Baal profaned her body, and her screams became the shrieking winds, which still haunt certain winding fjords of Skyrim. Shedding a lone droplet of blood on her brow, Baal left Nirn, having sown his wrath. Violated and comatose, Lame was found by nomads and cared for. A fortnight hence, the nomad weird woman enshrouded Lame in pall, for she had passed into death. In their way, the nomads built a bonfire to immolate the husk. That night, Lame rose from her funeral pyre and set upon the coven, still aflame. She ripped the throats of the women, ate the eyes of the children, and raped their men as cruelly as Baal had ravished her. And so, Lame, who was known to us as Blood Matron, imprecated her foul aspect upon the folk of Tamriel, and begat a brood of countless abominations, from which came the vampires, most cunning of the night horrors. And so was the scourge of undead wrought upon Tamriel, cruelly mocking Arche's rhythm of life and death through all the coming eras of the Et Ada, and for all his sadness, Arche knew this could not be undone. Yikes. No, I'm not accepting Molag Bal. That's someone else, sir.
So,
God, I'm trying to find a spot where it doesn't say use pillow and I get stuck. Okay, next quest is Beyond the Grave, which will coincide with Boethiah's calling, so I can do them both at the same time.
What are you planning to do with that mess?
So I was speaking earlier about voice to audiobooks. Part of the issue with the software, and there is no mechanism for pause, which I think to make things but much more seamless in capacity.
That's the cheese.
You need to be, because some of the books, as you have noticed, if you read them aloud, they last like 20 minutes. Some of them are very long, and as a role player, theoretically you've never read this book. It is not viable to pick up 40 books at a time, like in the castle, and then try to read them one at a time. It just gets really cumbersome. So if there were a way to pause and do other things, I think it would be much more viable, but I think it's better to either read them in game or do like a YouTube thing. Kind of sad but true, as much as I would really like to incorporate the books in. It just gets it gets old fast. Uh-oh. I came out of stuff for no reason whatsoever. Okay.
I've had enough of you!
Bounty Hunter's note. Yeah, if you could read a book without triggering the audio or having to untrigger the audio, that'd be great. But I don't see that even if I recorded my own books, that would take a lot of time. And then I wouldn't want to like listen to them all straight. So unless there develops some sort of pause where you can put a book aside and finish it later with like bookmarks, it would be very intrusive. I first met the Breton at Dead Men's Drink. Said it was poetic, given what was inside his bottle of wine. I ain't much for poetry myself. I wanted to know what it paid, and pay it did. I would have been okay with just gold, but he insisted I take his armor too. Not sure he'd want to give up something so valuable, but he said it would help sell the story. A dead man has no need for protection. Could have reminded him that he wasn't really dying, but you know what they say about a fool and his gold. So we shook hands and he downed the drink. Next morning, I rode into town with him as my bounty, and sure enough, they buried him in the cemetery, just like they said they would. Back at the inn, I asked him if he needed me to dig him up. He said I didn't have to. Someone else would. Oh, okay. Ew. Let me head up there and see if I can get that shard.
You start running back. This is some kind of ending.
I hit Ambar.
Take me! You're routed! Fall back! I'll kill you!
If death is what you seek, I am happy to oblige.
True Nords never back down!
Fuck!
I wonder if there's a mod for toggleable vampire sets, because that would be cool, even if you're not a vampire. Maybe I'll have to look. Since I discovered it, I should be able to port directly to it. Ugh. Yeah. Ow. Ay. It's annoying. Okay.
Screw you!
Fuck off!
Hold back! Your kind no big.
Shit!
Hold still a
with all I am, and yet my heart fucking stops.
I'm sure you did a lot of the killing
Every
already.
fucking time.
Yeah. Okay, this is not easy to get to. Satisfying.
Realised I've been in love before. It's got me thinking. I realise whatever this is. It's bigger than anything I've done. Well, my knees are hitting me right now. Fuck if the rest of me isn't loving the view. Shit. Did it again. Fuck Skyrim. Look at the D&D staring glass in front of me for crying out loud. God. Sure is a damn fine arse though.
Seriously, if anybody could make a patch where Kaidan just shuts the fuck up while we're sneaking, I would greatly appreciate it. I love the mod, but I mean, when you've heard the same "fuck, I can't sneak" comment for the 100th time, it is, it's not great. It's telling me to retrieve and equip the ebony mail. Do I already have it? Okay, ebony mail. There we go.
You have done well, my champion. You have earned my respect, a feat few manage and live to tell about. I shall write your name upon the tablet of absolute darkness. You may keep my ebony mail, a token of my appreciation to my new champion. Its gifts will resonate with your talents. Now go. I have strings to pull that require my full attention. You may pursue your own course wherever it leads you. Remember always this. As you will it, so it shall be.
Okie dokie. Alright, I can put my own gear back on, including the ring. Okay, so the ebony armor, you're able to move more quietly. The opponents that get too close take 5 points of poison damage per second. That's not bad. It's also heavy armor. Why it's called ebony mail and not ebony plate, I don't know, but there you go. Alright. Retrieve the Dwemer exploding firebolt schematic from Stony Creek Cave.
I just hope it was all worth it.
Between you and your conscience now, I just hope it was all worth it. Yeah.
What do you need, my love?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a book you might like, The Knights of the Nine.
Looks like a good read. Here, fair trade?
I need to trade some things.
Go on then.
Okay, so there's really only one angry comment. I'm gonna port out of here. This place is literally a maze, so. Hey guys. Oh! I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Kaidan. Yep, shot you in the butt. And paralyzed you. Oop, it's a tripwire.
Shit! Do you want some more?
We've been in here like 4 times by now. I think there was a Stone of Baron's Eye in here. Fiji starts in here.
That'd be a lesson.
Something like that. We've been here a lot. Bandits keep on keeping on. Maybe Fiji isn't in here. I don't. It all blurs together after a while. Hello, Swan. I like your little non-paddly feet. Investigate the Solitude's sewers. After studying the journals of both the Saints and Seducers bandit leaders, I've learned that Thorin is conducting dangerous experiments in the Solitude sewers using a strange sword. I should locate Thorin's lair within the sewers and discover the nature of the Conjurer's experiments. Okay. I don't remember that I've gone this far in this quest, so I don't remember this. I don't know what's gonna happen. Pretty sewer code.
Your lips look cool, should I? Warm up a bit.
Okay, yeah, I think I've been here. You get a bunch of lootables.
Or if this is a way of
Yikes.
getting back at me for something I said. Right, probably the second one. But I can't complain about the deal.
Some of these are alchemy ingredients. A lot of them you can just make replicas of and display for Creation Club content in the, I think it's Hall of Wonders. You dead yet?
It's like traveling on the damn shadows sometimes. How do you move about so silently?
Well, knees hit me right now. The rest of me isn't looking. I swear at this point you're only wanting us to sneak up. Because you know I can't think straight not seen you move like that.
I'm not on a mountain. I like how your mind works.
You hear something?
Okay, alrighty. Retrieve the sword of Jigalag. Okay, a lot of this loot, the stuff that I'm getting here, it looks very Morrowindy. Shale Gorath
I'm
shaped
feeling a bit
amber.
of thirst for a good bit of ale right now.
I haven't played a ton of Morrowind. And but I have played Elder Scrolls Online, so hello, buddy. Wait a second, little buddy.
Why are we sneaking?
Assuming this is the way out? Okay.
Sorry.
Before I leave this, let me make sure. Okay, restoring order. It's done. Okay. Alright, Forbidden Legend is next. That's exploring the Ritz. I should have a couple of them. Okay, moving right along here. We've reached the point in our game where we're actually clearing stuff out instead of just adding more stuff in. And it took, what, 200 hours? Now, I know what's in my quest log is still, even when my quest log is completely empty, that still won't be the end. I'm going to go through the completionist. Okay, now there is a pissed off otter. Dennis Valen's journal, 18th of Morning Star, 4E201. How long has it been since I first heard the Galdur legend? 80 years? 100? I can think of nothing else now. My goal is at hand. After years of searching, I finally traced the ivory claw to a collector in Brayville. His death was necessary, but I have it. At last, I have it. 22nd of Morning Star, 4E201. 3 days of non-stop riding. I've reached Anvil ahead of my pursuers and took passage on the Ice Runner, bound for solitude once more. 29th of Morning Star, 4E201. The other passengers are becoming suspicious. Returning from dinner, I caught one brute rooting around in my quarters. He almost found the claw. Had the captain not intervened, I would have flayed him alive. I hope to spend the voyage sequestered in my room, reviewing my notes and preparing spells, but I need to deflect some attention from myself. I'll have to mingle, pretending to be just another petty mage for now. Second of Sun's Dawn, 4201. The brute claims to be an adventurer, off to seek his fortune in the ruins of Skyrim with his companions. Perhaps I can turn this to my advantage, use them as fodder for the traps and Draugr within their tombs. You can see the greed in his eyes. Yes, that should work. 3 weeks to solitude, the captain says. If I have to suffer these fools longer than that, I'll swim. 27th of Sun's Dawn, 4201. With the brute and his companions in tow, I led our band across the marsh to Folgenthor, where we made camp for the night. Little has changed since my first expedition 10 years ago, but this time I have the claw, and I will have the amulet. I spent all night preparing a synopsis of my notes in case some fragment of the tale or piece of the ancient lore may be needed to bypass the wards within the tomb. Then I cast all my books and scrolls into the fire, and reduced my life's work to ashes. At long last, today is the day of reckoning. If I cannot have the amulet, no one will. No one. It's like a bad joke. Bad joke. Hey, Drelis. I'm no one. Nice to meet you, Drelis? Dre someone? Dre Dark Elf? Dramer? So, yeah, dead bodies on the way in. There's the adventurer. These guys are over here. There's a puzzle here, but it's for later. So, after you've done everything else, come over here once you have the claw and it'll open that door. Hey, buddy. Back around so you can let your follower, even though I have no idea what Kaidan is, but okay, Folgenthor is not a problem. Early game content, these guys aren't all that big, and I do really know this dungeon pretty well. Oh, hey Kaidan. Don't fall in there.
Oh, I don't know what I did in this life to deserve the punishment of that view when we're sneaking. Oh, but damn, I'm glad I did.
Janus, not Drelis. Okay. Janus Fallon's notes and the ivory claw. How to summarize I think that's a lifetime of research. So little of what I've learned matters now. The petty politics of ancient times, the age-long campaign to wipe out all mention of the Galdar name. I know not what awaits us within Folgenthor, so here, then, is the truth of the tale, as best as I've been able to piece it together. In the opening days of the First Era, the Archmage Galdar was revered throughout the north. Wisdom, wealth, honor, and power were his, and even Ysgramor's heir sought his counsel. Smothered by his shadow, Galdar's 3 sons grew cruel and resentful. They lusted after their father's power and prestige, and eventually, Jirik, the eldest, discovered its source, a mysterious amulet from which he never parted. Together they conspired to murder their father in his sleep and divide his amulet between them, and so it was done. Consumed by their newfound power, the brothers laid waste to the surrounding villages. So great was the carnage that the High King himself intervened, sending a company of battle mages led by the archmage Gerimond to subdue the brothers. And I think it's Gerimond. And after a devastating battle, the three fled the field. Mikrul, the youngest, was run to ground in Foldenthur, the ancient barrow at the foot of Solitude. And though he fought for 3 days and nights, he was at last overcome and entombed there, his crypt sealed by an ivory claw. Geirmund pursued Jurek to the shattered crypts of Sarthal, half buried even then. 10 veteran wizards fell before Jurek's elemental magic, but he could not overcome them all together. He too fell, and was sealed within the ruined city. And at last, Sigdis was cornered in the southernmost reaches of Skyrim. He challenged Lord Geirmund to a duel, knowing his foe was honor-bound to accept, and they clashed in battle, matching strength for strength, and fell together on the field before Ivarstead. The High King ordered a tomb built for Geirmund in the lake, which still bears his name, and had Sigdis sealed within, forever guarded by the one who slew him. Galdur himself was interred in a cave not far from where his tower once stood, in the place called Reachwater Rock. And when it was done, King Harald issued an edict. The name and deeds of Galdur and his sons were to be expunged from every record, every chronicle. Under pain of death, no word of them was to be spoken, lest any tried to recover the amulet that had been sealed at so great a cost. And so it was done. But a little survived the ages. Enough. 4,000 years had passed, and the tombs remained sealed. The fragments of the Galdur amulet lie within. Since the day I first heard the rumor, I felt its power calling to me, pulling at me. I will be the one to reclaim it, restore it, bear it out into the world once more. I must have it. I must. Hey, buddy. Sorry about that. Do you mind if I'm just gonna, a little bit, okay. That's good. Thank you.
You're a phantom to be feared. Rip them to shreds.
I don't remember this puzzle. Oh wow, lucky me. I'm gonna save, because I don't remember what I did. Actually, it was front left, front right, back left. Let's see if I remember next time I come in here. Mostly it's just pulling levers until, it does the thing. And with occasionally, rock slide. Occasionally having arrow shot at me. Usually that guy dies to the rocks, which is satisfying. I don't think this place works.
But I wouldn't mind if you
Let's see.
turned around and let me see. We have to take care of them. Know the drill, Dragonborn. You distract them while I take them the Come on.
I distract them?
You are dead.
Yeah, the assumption that Kaidan's going to be doing all the work is kind of adorable, right? Okay. Eagle, whale, snake. I usually get this done opposite because I expect it to be mirrored, but, okay.
Why the fuck are you lugging all that shit?
Where's the... Yep, arrows. Okay, there's a lever, right. I don't think the puzzle solver works on this, but let's see.
There's just no bloody end to it, is there?
for your
It
teeth!
is a vanilla puzzle. That's a shame. Okay, so if it isn't mirrored, or if it is, I don't even remember. It's eagle, whale, snake. Try that and then try the opposite of it. Whale stays the same no matter what.
Don't you expect me to eat those spider's eggs? Bugger that. I'm not an ingredients tester.
Okay, got it.
I learned a trick for drawing a bowstring that lets the arrow go further.
Okay, let's see what we've already done. Okay, so I've gotten the Galder Amulet Fragment in Sarthal already.
Next time we camp, I'll hold
So
you.
we'll do this and Gearman's Hall.
I mean, I'll help you adjust your arm so you see what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just water over here. Yeah. If there's anything that's down there, I've already looted it. I think there's actually exploded coffins in here, yeah. I hate to ruin the very dramatic entrance, but oh, and you trip and fall.
Yes.
You bastard!
Oh, wow. Off for 3 days and 3 nights, huh? The writs of sealing are all essentially the same. We curse thee, we bind thee. You know, it's not really prose. Be bound here, me cruel murderer, betrayer, condemned by your crimes against realm and lord. May your name and your deeds be forgotten forever, and the charm which you bear be sealed by our Lord. Fie!
It's
Fie
a good
upon
thing
you!
you're cute, or I'd
Yeah.
send you for that bounty
Fie!
myself.
Schooner for? Why do you even have that?
Okay, Frost Breath, second stage. Yeah, I'm still not using. Still not using shouts. It's just too much to ask my little brain to retain. Half the time I remember just spending like an hour like, where is the switch? There isn't a switch, you just break through. Oh, okay, yeah, so puzzle here.
I know why Draugr hide in their crypts. Because they don't have the guts for a real fight. Get it?
I think
Guts.
the puzzle's already set to where it should be, it's just that they didn't have yeah. Yeah, it is. It's set to where it should be. You don't have to solve anything, they just didn't have the key, the ivory dragon claw to open the door. You can see the engine really choking just to go, okay, here are some symptoms. Okay. Unholy Vigil. Oh, this is, yeah. Vigilant of Stendar has been investigating the disappearance of his fellow members. During his investigation, he was given a note to meet at the Windward Ruins. Unfortunately, he was murdered at the site. His journal, however, provides clues on 3 potential suspects. Following them may lead me to the location of the cult. I think this is close to... Dawnstar? Okay. Getting cold. Okay, pissed off otter.
Can I get you anything, love?
How about surviving
Aye.
out here?
Aye, we ought to make camp. I'll pitch a tent for you anytime, sweetheart. As you wish.
Okay, it worked. Good. Hello, cat. Hey, sweetheart. Good to see you, honey. Okay, you did a cute little thing with your legs. That's adorable.
My favourite part of our tent
Okay,
is
everything?
anywhere that you're naked in it.
Yeah, me too. So not the forge. Don't forge naked, folks. PSA. Like 17 gear pieces, you can hear them all getting stripped off.
Hello again.
Hey, sweetheart. Huh. The combat dummy, is it a hint?
You're good in a fight, but there's always room to improve. My guardian used to say that the day I stopped training would be the day I accepted dying.
Ooh. He wasn't wrong. Maybe we could spar sometime? Be good practice for us both.
Aye. I'd like that. I've got a few tricks I could show you, although I think I'll be doing a fair bit of learning as well. Well, moving on.
Orsino and the Orcs by Mena Ghost. Gesost. The year was 3E399, and standing on a mountainside overlooking a vast tract of land between the lanes of Menevia and Wayrest was a great and learned judge, an arbitrator and magistrate, impartial to his submission to the law. You have a very strong claim to the land, my lad, said the judge. I won't lie to you about that, but your competition has an equal claim. This is what makes my particular profession difficult at times. You would call it my competition? Huh. You would call it my competition? Sneered Lord Bowen, gesturing to the orc. Oh, it. You would call it my competition? Sneered Lord Bowen, gesturing to the orc. A creature called Gortwag Nagorn looked up with baleful eyes. He has ample documentation to make a claim on the land, the magistrate shrugged. And the particular laws of our land do not discriminate between particular races. We had a Bosmer regency once, many generations ago. But what if a pig or a slaughterfish turned up to demand the property? Would they have the same legal rights as I? If they had the proper papers, I'm afraid so, smiled the judge. The law is very clear that if two claimants with equal titles to the property are set to deadlock, a duel must be held. Now, the rules are fairly archaic, but I've had opportunity to look them over, and I think they're still valid. The Imperial Council agrees. What must we do? Asked the orc, his voice low and harsh, unused to the tongue of the Cyrodiils. The first claimant, that's you, Lord Gartwag, may choose the armor and weapons of the duelists. The second claimant, that's you, Lord Bowen, may choose the location. If you would prefer, either or both may choose a champion, or you may duel yourself. The Breton and the orc looked one another over, evaluating. Finally, Gortwag spoke. The armor will be orcish and the weapons will be common steel longswords. No enchantments, no wizardry allowed. The arena will be the central courtyard of my cousin Lord's Bearlith Palace and Wayrest, said Bowen, looking Gortwag in the eye scornfully. None of your kind will be allowed in to witness. So it was agreed. Gortwag declared he would fight the duel himself, and Bowen, who was a fairly young man and in better than average condition, felt that he could not keep his honor without competing himself as well. Still, upon arriving at his cousin's palace a week before the duel was scheduled, he felt the need to practice. A suit of orcish armor was purchased, and for the first time in his life, Bowen wore something of tremendous weight and limited facility. Bowen and Bearlith sparred in the courtyard. In 10 minutes' time, Bowen had to stop. He was red-faced and out of breath from trying to move in the armor. To add to his exasperation, he had not scored one blow on his cousin and had dozens of fainted strikes scored on him. I don't know what to do, said Bowen over dinner. Even if I knew someone who could fight properly in that beastly steel, I couldn't possibly send in a champion to battle Gortwag. Bearlith commiserated as the servants cleared the plates. Bowen stood up in his seat and pointed at one of them. You didn't tell me you had an orc in your household. Sir? Whined the elderly specimen, turning to Lord Bearlith. Certainly he had caused offense somehow. You mean old Tunner? Laughed Bearlith. He's been in my house for ages. Would you like him to give you training on how to move in orcish armor? Would you like me to? Asked Tunner obsequiously. Unknown to Bearlith, but known to him now, his servant had once ridden with the legendary Cursed Legion of High Rock. He had not only known how to fight in orcish armor, he not only knew how to fight in orcish armor himself, but he had acted as a trainer to other orcs before retiring into domestic service. Desperate, Bowen immediately engaged him as his full-time trainer. You try too hard, sir, said the orc on their first day in the arena. It is easy to strain yourself in heavy mail. Joints are just so to let you bend with only a little effort. If you fight against the joints, you won't have any strength to fight your foe. Bowen tried to follow Tunner's instructions, but he quickly grew frustrated. And the more frustrated he got, the more intensity he put into his work, which tired him out even quicker. When he took a break to drink some water, Bearlith spoke to his servant. If they were optimistic about Bowen's chances, their faces did not show it. Tunner trained Bowen hard the next 2 days, but her ladyship Elsora's birthday followed hard upon them, and Bowen enjoyed a feast thoroughly. A liquor of poppies and goose fat and cock tinch. What is This is just a ploy to make me look up the word cognition, isn't it? Let's do it. Yep, all I'm getting is cock-tease porn videos from Pornhub. Okay, good job, Oblivion. Let's see what Tinch is on its own. Yeah, it's not a thing. With buttered hyssop for a first course, roast pike, comb-wort, and balls of rabbit meat for a second, sliced fox tongues, ballam pudding and oyster gravy, badaglir weed, and beans for the final course, kolakiva, ice, and sugar fritters for dessert. As Bowen was settling back afterwards, his eyes weary, he suddenly spied Gortwog and the judge entering the room. "What are you doing here?" he cried. "The duel's not for another 2 days." "Lord Gortwog asked that we move it to tonight," said the judge. "You were training when my emissary arrived 2 days ago, but his lordship, your cousin, spoke for you, agreeing to the change in date." "But there's no time to assemble my supporters," complained Bowen. "And I've just devoured a feast that would kill a lesser man." "Cousin, how could you neglect to tell me?" "I spoke to Tunner about it," said Berlith, blushing, unused to deception. "We decided that you would be best served under these conditions." The battle in the arena was sparsely attended. Saturated with food, Bowen found himself unable to move very quickly. To his surprise, the armor responded to his lethargy, rotating smoothly and elegantly to each stagger. The more he successfully maneuvered, the more he allowed his mind, and not his body, to control his defensive and offensive actions. For the first time in his life, Bowen saw what it was to look through the helmet of an orc. Of course, he lost, and rather badly if scores had been tabulated. Gortwog was a master of such battle, but Bowen fought on for more than 3 hours before a judge reluctantly called a winner. "I will name the land Orsinium and the land after the land of my fathers," said the victor. Bowen's first thought was that if he must lose to an orc, it's best that the battle was largely unwatched by his friends and family. As he left the courtyard to go to the bed he had longed for earlier in the evening, he saw Gortwog speaking to Tunner. Though he did not understand the language, he could see that they knew each other. When the Breton was in bed, he had a servant bring in the old orc. "Tunner," he said kindly, "speak frankly to me. You wanted Lord Gortwog to win." "That is true," said Tunner, "but I did not fail you. You fought better than you would have fought 2 days hence, sir. I did not want Orsinium to be won by its king without a fight." Pala, Volume 1. By Vorsht Mierstedt. Pala. I remember when I first heard that name, not long ago at all. It was at a Tails and Tallows ball at the very fine estate west of Mircorp, to which I and my fellow Mages Guild initiates had found ourselves unexpectedly invited. Truth be told, we needn't have been too surprised. There were very few other noble families in Mircorp. The region had its halcyon days as a resort for the wealthy as far back as the Second Era, and on reflection, it was only appropriate to have sorcerers and wizards present at a supernatural holiday. Not that we were anything more exotic than students at a small, non-exclusive charter house of the guild, but like I said, there was a paucity of other choices available. For close to a year, the only home I had known was the rather ramshackle, if sprawling grounds of the Mircorp Mages Guild. My only companions were my fellow initiates, most of which only tolerated me, and the masters, whose bitterness at being yet a backwater guild prompted never-ending abuse. Immediately, the School of Illusion had attracted me. The magister who taught us recognized me as an apt pupil who loved not only the spells of the science, but their philosophical underpinnings. There was something about the idea of warping the imperceptible energies of light, sound, and mind that appealed to my nature. Not for me the flashy schools of destruction and alteration, the holy schools of restoration and conjuration, practical schools of alchemy and enchantment, or the chaotic school of mysticism. No, I was never so pleased as to take an ordinary subject and by a little magic make it seem something other than what it was. It would have taken more imagination than I had to apply that philosophy to my monotonous life. After the morning's lessons, as we were assigned tasks before our evening classes. After the morning's lessons, we were assigned tasks before our evening classes. Mine had been to clean out the study of a recently deceased resident of the guild and categorize his clutter of spellbooks, charms, and in incunabula. We know what that word means. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Incunabula. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's Latin. Incunabula. It was a lonely and tedious appointment. Magister Tendixus was an inveterate collector of worthless junk, but I was reprimanded every time I threw something away of the least possible value. Gradually, I learned enough to deliver each of those belongings to the appropriate department. Potions of healing to the Magisters of Restoration, books on physical phenomena to the Magisters of Alteration, herbs and minerals to the alchemists, and soul gems and bound items to the enchanters. After one delivery to the enchanters, bound items? Seriously? There are physical bound items lying around? After one delivery to the enchanters, I was leaving with my customary lack of appreciation when Magister Ilther called me back. "Boy," said the portly old man, handing me back this one item. "Destroy this." It was a small black disc covered with runes with a ring of red-orange gems like bones circling its periphery. "I'm sorry, Magister," I stammered. I thought it was something you'd be interested in." "Take it to the great flame and destroy it," he barked, turning his back on me. "You never brought it here." My interest was piqued because I knew the only thing that would make him react in such a way. Necromancy. I went back to Magister Tendix's chamber and poured through his notes, looking for any reference to the disc. This is basically like finding porn. Necromantic porn, right? Unfortunately, most of the notes had been written in a strange code that I was powerless to decipher. I was so fascinated by the mystery that I nearly arrived late for my evening class in enchantment, taught by Magister Ilther himself. For the next several weeks, I divided my time categorizing the general debris and making my deliveries and researching the disc. I came to understand that my instinct was correct. The disc was a genuine necromantic artifact. Though I couldn't understand most of the Magister's notes, I determined that he thought it could be a means of resurrecting a loved one from the grave. Sadly, my time came when the chamber had been categorized and cleaned, and I was given another assignment, assisting in the stables of the guild's menagerie. At least, finally, I was working with some of my fellow initiates, and had the opportunity of meeting the common folk and nobles who came to the guild on various errands. Thus was I employed when they were all invited to the Tails and Talos ball. If the expected glamour of the evening were not enough, our hostess was reputed to be a young, rich, unmarried orphan from Haverfell. Only a month or two before had she moved to our desolate, wooded corner of the Imperial province to reclaim an old family manor house and grounds. The initiates at the guild gossiped like old women about the mysterious young lady's past, what had happened to her parents, why she had left or been driven from her homeland. Her name was Betaniki, and that was all that we knew. We wore our robes of initiation with pride as we arrived for the ball. At the enormous marble foyer, the servant announced each of our names as if we were royalty, and we strutted into the midst of the revelers with great puffery. Of course, we were then promptly ignored by one and all. In essence, we were unimportant figures to lend some thickness to the ball, background characters. The important people pushed through us with perfect politeness. There was old lady Shadira, discussing diplomatic appointments to Balmora with the Duke of Rimfarlin. An orc warlord entertained a giggling princess with tales of rape and pillage. 3 of the guild magisters worried with 3 painfully thin noble spinsters about the haunting of Daggerfall. Intrigues at the imperial and various royal courts were analyzed, gently mocked, fretted over, toasted, dismissed, evaluated, mitigated, admonished, subverted. No one looked our way, even when we were right next to them. It was as if my skill at illusion had somehow rendered us all invisible. I took the flagon out to the terrace. The moons were doubled, equally luminous in the sky, and in the enormous reflecting pool that stretched out into the garden. The white marble statuary lining the sides of the pool caught the fiery glow and seemed to burn like torches in the night. The sight was so otherworldly that I was mesmerized by it, and the strange red-garbed figures immortalized in stone. Our hostess had made her home there so recently that some of the sculptures were still wrapped in sheets that billowed and swayed in the gentle breeze. I don't know how long I stared before I realized I wasn't alone. She was so small and so dark, not only in her skin but in her clothing, that I nearly took her for a shadow. When she turned to me, I saw that she was very beautiful and young, not more than 17. "Are you our hostess?" I finally asked. "Yes," she smiled, blushing, "but I'm ashamed to admit that I'm very bad at it. I should be inside with my new neighbors, but I think we have very little in common." "It's been made abundantly clear that they hope I have nothing in common with them either," I laughed. "When I'm a little higher than an initiate in a mage's guild, they might see me as more of an equal." "I don't understand the concept of equality in Cyrodiil yet," she frowned. "In my culture, you proved your worth, not just expected it. My parents both were great warriors, as I hope to be." Her eyes went out to the lawn, to the statues. "Do the sculptures represent your parents?" "That's my father, Pariah, there," she said, gesturing to a life-size representation of a massively built man, unashamedly naked, gripping another warrior by the throat and preparing to decapitate him with an outstretched blade. It was clearly a realistic depiction. Pariah's face was plain, even slightly ugly, with a low forehead, a mass of tangled hair, stubble on his cheeks, even a slight gap in his teeth, which no sculptor would surely have invented except to do justice to his model's true idiosyncrasies. "And your mother?" I asked, pointing to a nearby statue of a proud, rather squat warrior woman in a mantilla and scarf, holding a child. "Oh, no. That was my uncle's old nurse. Mother's statue still has a sheet over it." I don't know what prompted me to insist that we unveil the statue that she pointed to. In all likelihood, it was nothing but fate and a selfish desire to continue the conversation. I was afraid that if I did not give her a project, she would feel the need to return to the party, and I would be alone again. At first she was reluctant. She had not yet made up her mind whether the statues would suffer in the wet, sometimes cold Cyrodiil climate. Perhaps all should be covered, she reasoned. It may be that she was merely making conversation and was reluctant as I to end the standoff and be that much closer to having to return to the party. In a few minutes' time, we tore the tarp from the statue of Patanki's mother. That is when my life changed forevermore. She was an untamed spirit of nature, screaming in a struggle with a misshapen, monstrous figure in black marble. Her gorgeous, long fingers were raking across the creature's face. The monstrous talons gripped her right breast in a sort of caress that prefaced a mortal wound. Its legs and hers were wound around each other in a battle that was a dance. I felt annihilated. This lithe but formidable woman was beautiful beyond all superficial standards. Whoever had sculpted it had somehow captured not only a face and figure of a goddess, but her power and will. She was both tragic and triumphant. I fell instantly and fatally in love with her. I had not even noticed when Gellin, one of my fellow initiates who was leaving the party, came up behind us. Apparently I had whispered the word "magnificent," because I heard Batanki reply as if miles away, "Yes, it is magnificent. That's why I was afraid of exposing it to the elements." Then I heard clearly, like a stone breaking water, Gellin. "Mara, preserve me, that must be Papa." "Then you've heard of my mother?" asked Batanki, turning his way. "I hail from Wayrest, practically on the border of Hammerfell. I don't think there's anyone who hasn't heard of your mother and her great heroism, ridding the land of that abominable beast. She died in that struggle, didn't she?" "Yes," said the girl sadly. "But so, too, did the creature." For a moment we were all silent. I don't remember anything more of that night. Somehow I knew I was invited to dine the next evening, but my mind and heart had been entirely and forever more arrested by the statue. I returned back to the guild, but my dreams of fever had brought me no rest. Everything seemed diffused by white light, except for one beautiful, fearsome woman. Paula. Thanks for watching. Wishing you found family, creative hobbies, a hot bath after a long day, and food you love as much as Saleya loves apple pies.